that shepherd staff off to his son, and his son to his son, and they maintain their vigilance every night. So you're obligated to do the same thing. And Christians that claim that they do not will, I believe, have to face their Creator, and He's going to ask them what I know He's going to ask me. This is a gift from God. We are the Caesars of this land. We have no king, we have no queen. People seem to forget that. You are the sovereign of this nation. When the time comes, you're going to stand before God, and He's going to ask you, did you do everything to preserve the gifts that I gave you? And you better be able to say yes. So those Christians who say that they're not beholden to protect this nation, which is unlike others, I challenge that they are not being good shepherds and that they are failing the flocks of this land. Because if the Christian population will not stand up and be the moral guide, and if they will not stand up and be the shining beacon, who will? If morality doesn't stand, the immoral are next in line. And that's why we have what we have now with this government and this nation as it stands today.
Is that information on the signs and everything valuable information on your second video, or is there...
I did discuss it, yes, in the second video. Yes. And there's anybody probably can get a copy of whatever's here tonight, too, so it's possible.
Mark,
yeah, go ahead.
You had mentioned earlier to me about some church that was under siege up your way. What was the story behind that church that the federal government surrounded, and what happened to it?
Okay, what we had was in Indianapolis, we had one of the largest churches in the area. Pastor Dixon is his name. He found out and realized the full folly of having a registered church. Because by income tax laws, for instance, taxation laws, the government does not have the power to tax a church. Never has, never will. But what they've done is convinced everybody to think they need to be non-profit. You're already non-profit. You're a church. You can't have taxes levied against you. However, once you become non-profit and sign the contracts with the government, and that's what this is, licentiousness, once you receive a license, what happens is you have given the state and the government authority then to come into your church. Well, what they decided to do with this church, as many others have done across the country, is to disenfranchise themselves from this contract. When they did so, the federal government demanded the records of the church. They wanted the names of all the members. They wanted all of the financial records. They wanted all the data and information from that mechanism. Why? Because just as if you've ever been with the JCs or the Rotary or anything else, if your nonprofit organization goes belly up, all the records are to go to the government. And they're held for 7 years there before they're then put into a separate trust again and locked away until such time as that organization is resurrected. Well, they were going to try and punish the church, and they were going to have the lists of all the evil offenders. The pastor stood before the gates of the church when they came, and they brought the warrant to the church in front of him, and they said, "We are going." They served it to him like this. He took it up, folded it, and stuck it back in the pocket of the federal agent that was there. They immediately grabbed his arm, pulled it around behind him, threw him to the ground, and forcibly handcuffed him with no resistance. They still abused him. They dragged him away. They charged him with assaulting a federal officer. For 6 to 7 days, members of the church, and this has a 10,000 member congregation overall, at any given time at least 5,000 people attend this church. It's an independent church, not affiliated. They were under siege for 7 days with people inside armed trying to protect the church from attack. This was about the time that Waco had taken place, and they probably could not afford a second situation like this. Helicopters came every day over the church at point-blank range and scanned it with infrared. And it's obvious it had the pot bellies underneath, the whole 9 yards. They charged the pastor with assault and then convicted him within less than 7 to 9 days. He was sentenced to 17 years in prison with no criminal history and no criminal background or record. However, the lawyer, who was one of his members of the church, looked at the papers and realized, wait a minute, he was charged under Article 3, but he was sentenced under something under Article 47, U.S. Code. He couldn't figure out what it was. So he went back through the USC and found out they had charged him under one thing and sentenced him under the martial law guidelines. Well, they threw it out. They actually got him cleared because they tried this foolishness as quickly as they could, figuring they could push it through the court. They won. He is out. He has been out for quite some time now. But this situation developed very, very quickly. They just realized again that this was not going to be allowed to happen. And many other people did find out regionally, but not nationally. So not everybody knows how this took place. The pastor has supported and in fact had an independent church conference, a couple of them in the last few months, in which 200 different churches have come and visited and have received seminars on what took place and how they can free their church. Or the fact they're already free, but they want to make sure they can maintain their independence. Because the New World Order wants to control all churches, period. There will be no free independent churches anywhere. That is the bottom line.
So what can he do to fight that directly politically? Can he sue? Can there be a lawsuit?
Well, unfortunately, there's a problem with this. Most people, it would be nice if we could sue them, but what has happened in the past is that several federal laws were established which make it impossible or exonerate federal agents from being charged or sued the same as a common citizen would be for violating the law. And so there's a variety of convoluted situations you have to go through to try and get at them. And even then, it's almost impossible today. So the best they can say is that he is free, that the church has not been disturbed since and is operating fully. And it is now free and independent. It is no longer registered with the state or with the feds. So it is good with respect to that. They won what they wanted, but they had to pay a price.
It's not enough, though.
I agree. But the point is, they're trying to make a stay about it. That battle is being fought at their level, and if they're successful, or if they lose, they will let us know. And we'll have more information on that. The problem is, at the very least, right now we're in a series of holding actions. Our mission is right at this time to calculate: do we fight, or in fact, we may have to anyway. I won't say it that way, but when we fight, it will have to be in earnest. And when we do fight, I can't stop until we win. But for the time that we have, as long as we as patriots can hold them back as linemen, we're busy pushing the line back wherever we can. We're giving everybody behind us time to fix bayonets, cock, lock, and load, and get ready for the war. The more time we can give our people, the better prepared they are, the more weapons we have, the better the trained people we have. We're trying to buy some time. We've given you a lot of time as it is. We've been in this for a long time doing what we're doing now. This has been awfully expensive for us. Every waking hour we have, and sometimes we don't go to sleep, and a lot of other patriots have been doing the same thing. We're not the only ones. We have one.
I cry for my country, for the pain that it's been through. She's been made to suffer for the profit of a few. Storm clouds are forming, winds of change now touch our shores. Our forefathers are crying as the dream's been cruised. America.